having in your curriculum that is there in the supercoder book. So I also assume that you have credentials to the app, SuperTeacher app, and the portal which is open cs.in. If you go there and you log in using your teacher ID, I am sure you are able to see the lesson plans and resources. So my name is Sonia Wadhwa, and I am a trainer with SuperTeacher, and I'll be, taking you quickly through the chapter which we are going to do today. So I am being told that we have sessions, back-to-back sessions for next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and day after. And timings will be from 5 to 7. And I have to do 3 chapters with you. So the chapters are chapter 6, which is statistics and probability for AI, chapter 7, introduction to generative AI, and chapter 8, which is introduction to Python. So to make an interesting start, I would like to start with my favorite topic, which is chapter 7, introduction to generative AI. So instead of 6, we are doing 7 chapter today, and then we will do the next chapter tomorrow and the next one the day after. So according to your book, we are doing chapter number 7, introduction to generative AI. I'll share my screen and we will make sure that we are on the same page. But before we start into the textbook content directly, I would like to ask a few of you, what are the first few words that come to your mind when you think about the word generative AI? Please use the chat window to share your responses. What are a few words that come to your mind when you think of generative AI? Whatever comes to your mind when you think of generative AI, please start to put your answers in the chat window. So I put my question also. What are our first few words that for you is synonym to generative AI? So we are 20 in room, so at least 20 responses I'm expecting in the chat window. Okay, ChatGPT to most of them, generating simple images, prompts, subset of DL, okay. Creating something new using apps, okay. Movies, okay. Though this answer looks a little incomplete, movies. Please elaborate it. What do you mean by, are you saying generating movies with the help of AI? Then it still makes some sense. Okay. So I'm waiting for a couple of more responses. So I would like to, bring in that perspective that human has evolved a lot. So if we go back to the times, our early days, we have always been very creative. So in the olden era, when people were not even literated, there was no pen, paper, stationery. People used to write on the walls of the caves. They would do scriptures. They will, come up with the text written on the even the leaves of the plants that we have seen in the olden age. And then we graduated, our tools improved, we started to write with pen and paper, and then even people started to draw on computers. We started to call it digital graphics. So human has evolved from time and ages, but always whenever something was created, human was at the center. Whether it was our summer projects when we were very young, and our teacher would give us to make up write a design a poetry book, write 10 of your original compositions. So maybe you tried to write 1 or 2 lines, and your parents help, so you co-created with your grandparents, and then maybe siblings co-created the content, and then they did everything, they put together everything with pen and on pen and paper. So from pen and paper era to digital era, people started to create content by typing it, and we converted it into digital form. But still, in all of that, the human was at the center, because human was doing everything. But now, astonishingly, is coming an age where human has trained machines to such an extent that even if they are out of context and they give just a voice command, machine is doing everything on its own. So at one point of time, it is very exciting to imagine all of this. And at times it is scary also, that where the future of this is going to be, whether humans will be needed at some point of time, or most of the jobs will be automated with the help of robots. What will be its implications of jobs of future? What will be its implication of human skills? So if I think about myself, there was a point of time when I used to write so many poetries, books, so many, blogs and all. But now when I write, I can always co-create with AI. But if want to write originally entire thing piece myself, I feel myself handicapped, because in past 6 7 months I've realized that my creative domain is getting little weaker with AI coming in. So these are the general, thoughts that comes to one's mind when we think about generative AI, because generative AI is a type of AI which allows you to generate content, which could be text, which could be images, which could be audio, which could be videos, with the help of an AI model. Now coming to, I'll share my screen and we will come back to the textbook, which chapter we are dealing and how we are going to transit this into the classroom. So if you see my screen, I understand that you have access to this particular app. Give a thumbs up if you already have access, and you can see content like this from your dashboard as well. So just confirm in the chat window that if you have access to lesson plans, ebook, video, resources, just confirm so that we can move ahead, that you have understanding, that you have this and you have seen it in your login. Else I'll explain the process that from where you will get it. So I'm waiting to hear from you. Okay, so I see two confirmation in the chat window. Others are also requested to. Sudha Rani has confirmed that she has access. I sorry if I am pronouncing your name wrong. I'm not sure about you being male or female, but I acknowledge your confirmation. I'm requesting other members also to confirm that if you have access to this. So in this dashboard, the portal name is open.cs.in. And when you come to this portal, you have three kind of login: teacher, student, and there is one institution dashboard. So if you click in using teacher dashboard, you'll end up here. And then you have batches. I understand that here your batches NHS, New Delhi. So if you click on this, this is the, and if you go to class 9, we are discussing about grade 9, some of the chapters. If I click on go, I have first the lesson plan. This chapter is divided into 3 subtopics, and each is meant to be, so this is chapter number 7. We are doing introduction to generative AI. This is divided into 3 lessons of 35 minutes each. So which makes it total of 35 plus 35, 70, and plus furthermore 35. So you have, the teacher is expected to, deliver this content in 105 minutes. And today in the meeting, we have 1 hour, 20 minutes. So I will be showing you how you can cover this chapter in your classroom, and what interesting elements you can bring in to explain what is given in the textbook. So for each lesson, so suppose I click on lesson 1. So there is a lesson plan which is here, and the lesson plan is in the form of speaker notes also. So if you were to deliver it in the class in front of students, so what you should speak about when you start the chapter. So even the speaker notes are there wherever it's possible, and wherever it's not relevant, you may not find those. So this is lesson structure. So first slide shows what are we going to learn in this chapter in this period. So if you divide the chapter in 3 periods, the first period says at the end of this, student will be able to learn what is generative AI, differentiate between conventional and generative AI, identify real-life applications of generative AI, and classify AI tools as rule-based, discriminative, or generative AI. So here the keywords are rule-based, discriminative, or generative AI, and the difference between traditional and generative AI. So this is what children are going to learn in the first session. Now, same way you have lesson plan for second, lesson plan for third. And if you come for the first chapter from exam point of view, what kind of questions could be asked, how to prepare for it. So here you have, it says the chapter 35-minute component can be divided into 3 minutes for startup activity, 6 minutes discussion on generative AI. So this is even to help you how 35 minutes should be divided. Very nicely, this breakup has also been given. Now, after your lesson planning, which is very elaborated and given, and how you should spend time on each topic, if you move ahead, you would see that the book content is there. So this is curiosity starter. In all the super teacher books, on top, you will find an analogy which will explain the context, what we are going to speak, and that sets the tone of the chapter, and we call it as curiosity starter. So here, the example of the Hanuman movie is being given. This was released in early 2024. So the director of this movie, Mr. Prashant, had a low budget and he wanted to create a movie with great visuals. But we understand when these kind of movies come in, you have to invest a lot in the visual creation. But if you have low budget, but on your so how about he minimize the budget? Instead of human resources, the human designers, 3D editors, graphic creators, he did most of it with the help of AI, and he saved his budget and still made a very nice movie. So that's what he did. And that is to set the context. The teacher can ask, have you seen this movie? Can you imagine how much amount would have gone in producing this movie? And such movies are very high budget movies. But you then tell them that it was a low budget movie. So how did the director manage that? And let them explore it. And then they will next day come back and tell themselves that, most of it was done with the help of AI. That's why less of human involvement and less of paying fee to different experts. And that's how the movie could be made in low budget. The next part.
Sonia Vadva, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Sorry,
Yeah.
very sorry. Can you click on that settings icon, ma'am, on the top of the screen?
Okay.
Right hand side. Yeah. There is something called as full screen, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Click on it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So this is how you would set the context. Now, the second part, so once you have set the context, so I would say that when there is a section to arouse curiosity, maybe a day prior, if you do believe in flip teaching, you just, ask children to come prepared uh, to watch this movie Hanuman, or at least have an understanding of it from the internet, and come to the class little ready with the, this topic. So they would do their homework, they would search on the internet what it is, and then you can take forward the discussion. Then very clearly here are the learning objectives which are given, that by at the end of this chapter, what are you going to learn, and how generative AI is different from traditional AI. So the answer of what is generative AI should also be generated from the discussion that you do with the students. So if I was a teacher instead of you, and I was to deal it in the class, so I would ask him, what is generative AI? So, okay, we'll say we'll start with the use cases. So what is that you could generate with it? Somebody would say music, somebody would say, text, somebody would say video. So you keep writing, and then you say that, uh, so AI is generating something, an AI which is capable of generating this for you. And this could be even animated piece of animation, this could be even stories, this could be whatever it could generate. So you write those kind of examples, and then you tell the story of evolution, as I mentioned that in past. So I also started with a story to you, that in the ancient time, people used to express themselves through stories, paintings, invention. And later on, we moved to our tools change, we improved our pens, we use chisels, we use cameras to click picture rather than drawing them. And then when the computer was came into effect, the perspective changed, and we moved to a lot of digital artifacts. And we started typing instead of writing. We started to make digital graphics. People even had graphic tablets to convert their drawing into digital graphics. But in all of this, human was always at the center. But now coming is an era where we are saying human is out of the picture, or maybe human is not in the center, so machine is doing something automatically. So that's what we were discussing, that when we think of generative AI, imagine if machine could write a story, draw a picture, compose music, or even make a movie on its own just from a few prompts. So whatever prompts you gave, that's the power of generative AI. This may sound like a fiction, but it is now the reality. Now, they have given some examples. So those of you who have never tried this, I will just quickly, show you one little example. So I'm saying I'm going to chat GPT because many of you mentioned that you are aware of chat GPT. So I will not pick up a new tool. Okay, I will just open. Mhm. And I'm writing here chat GPT. Now I'm writing, give me a picture. I clear the annotation. Give me 1 minute. Give me a picture where a boy is in a classroom all alone, left behind, and everyone has left from school. He looks scared and is crying. So I've given an instant, and so I'm saying pictures, and I can use the word generate, or I can say give me. So whatever word I want to use, and I'll say, uh, so AI would now, by the time ChatGPT is doing this for me, I would just erase the annotation. Okay. So in the textbook, um, image generation is given by another tool. So we will come back to it, and by the time it generates, it will take a few seconds. So if you see here, it says ChatGPT is like a chatbot, and it helps you to have conversations, generate essay, and for generating an image, the tool suggested here is Midjourney. But see, there are some tools which are multi-purpose tools, like ChatGPT is used for multiple purposes. I can even create a piece of music, lyrics, everything with the help of ChatGPT also. But there is something called specialization. As you say, no, the MBBS doctor is a general physician, but an MD is a specialized one who masters in a certain field. The same goes with AI also. So if you want to do an AI, which is very powerful in terms of when you do academic research, Perplexity is the one that you should pick up. If you want to compose music, Suno.ai is very good. AIVA is another example which is given here. Same way, Sora is given here, but Google VO3 is also very powerful. So for every little purpose, these generative AI ranges from general purpose to specialized AIs. So Chat GPT, I would put it in the category of general purpose AI. On the other hand, like Suno is a specialized AI for music. Midjourney is a specialized AI for digital artwork. Google VO is a specialized AI for creating uh, human like videos. So you have to understand for what purpose which AI is the best fit. For example, if you want to generate lesson plans, Magic School is amazing. So we should know for which purpose we should use which AI. But having said that, okay, just 1 minute. I think I logged out from here. So I'll just copy my prompt and log in again. Sorry for the delay. So I'll just log in my account, because without logging in, it will not generate image. I can do test conversations without logging in, but to generate an image, I need to sign in actually. Then only it'll be able to. So I'll use the code that will come to my mail and log in here. Mm. Now I'm here going to again paste my prompt, and the prompt, same prompt, which I wrote outside. And after writing my prompt, so let's see, it's generating the image which I have asked for. Okay. So here, how one could use it. Now, when you are telling this to the students, you know, you have to have examples in your mind that where students can use it. So when they submit their board projects in different subjects, there is always a worry of whether it's a copyright free image or not. So tell them that the content that you create with an AI is free from copyright. So wherever they want to put some images, then rather than taking copyright images from Google, they can generate their own images. So I hope you remember the context I had given. Now it will generate an image basis that content, and we will just see what has come out. So I will again in a minute come back to it. So these are the different type of AIs which are being given in the book. So I'm not going to give you demo of each of these. I would request if you can explore one or two. I will open and show you, and basis whatever time we have. Now it says that if they're concluding here, these tools doesn't retrieve or modify existing content. They generate completely new content. So it is very important question when you discuss it with the students, that whether it generates new content or it modifies your old content. So it says that it doesn't generate any, modify any new content. It just changes your previous, sorry, it generates new content, not change your previous content. Now here is the appropriate definition. Generative AI is an AI that can create new content, be it text, images, music, video. More depends and it and how it makes a new content based on the pattern it has learned from vast amount of data. The ability to generate new content has made generative AI a game changer in industries like entertainment, education, healthcare, and business. So we all are aware of it. Now, this is important piece of information as far as new knowledge is concerned for children. There are three kind of AI models that are being given in the book, and we should be able to explain these with the help of appropriate examples. For example, the first one says rule-based AI model, second is discriminative AI model, and third is generative AI model. So imagine something like, which is a calculator, which has fixed instruction and has to perform on fixed formulas. So such kind of AI model, which is fixed, as has fixed set of instruction, and there is very rare chance of being adapting something on the go. So such models are called your rule based AI model. I'll just see if that image has been generated. So we will I hope I'm audible. Karthik, am I audible? Hello, can someone confirm that I am audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will just come back to that screen where we were generating, but these are three kind of models that everyone has to understand. First is, as I said, rule based AI model, for which the example is calculator, because a calculator follow mathematical rules to add, subtract, multiply, or divide number. It doesn't think or adapt it, simply it has to follow the instruction. It is like as if you have a program where you have if else formulas, that if this happens, this should be the output. So it is a very simple rule based AI model. Now coming to discriminative AI model, the second kind of model. So I'll just share my screen again. I'll see some lag, and then just give me 1 minute. So the second kind of model is discriminative. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'll explain these models and let the screen respond back. and then I will show you the text below. So in the discriminative AI model, AI is able to discriminate between different kind of data. For example, if you give a scene to AI where there are multiple kind of animals being shown, and now AI is being discriminating that there are two cats, there are three foxes in this image. So that kind of model which can discriminate. Traffic light is another good example. If it could discriminate the action that is to be taken on red light, green light, so that kind of AI model is called discriminative AI model. When it comes to generative AI model, as we said, these models are capable of generating new data basis the patterns which it has from the whatever the model is being trained from. For example, if model is being trained from 100 type of classical music, and if you want to create a new piece, it can create a new uh, music basis the data it has, which was used to train it by studying the patterns from that data. So that is generative AI. Discriminative, which can make discriminate between different type of training data and can take the decision accordingly. Rule based, which is fixed. So I hope these three are clear, and we will then move on to, I'll just try to see if that is being generated. Is my screen visible to everyone? Is my screen visible to everyone? Karthik, is my screen visible?
It was visible, ma'am, but it stopped again, I guess.
So now it's not visible?
Now it's not visible, ma'am.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Allow me to rejoin quickly. It seems the screen had got stuck somewhere. Just give me 1 minute.
Sure, sure, ma'am. Ma'am, screen is visible now.
So yes, Karthik, I understood that. What I'm doing is I have already generated a few images in
Sure,
another
sure.
presentation. So I'm trying to show them that one instead of trying to generate, because then system is taking a toll. So
Got it, ma'am.
okay. Now you see, this is, I made this presentation early somewhere. So I generated a couple of images for this, which I want to show you. So here, if you see that, uh, look at this image, this one. So it says that what I did to AI on Gen AI, I gave exactly this prompt because I've copied it from ChatGPT. I said, give me 4 set of images to explain the following story through visuals for to my students of class 1. So I've given 4 scenes. Ram was very fond of junk food. He always used to eat junk food and will never eat food if mother will give anything healthy. One day he had severe stomach ache and felt sick. Scene 3, doctor explained him the importance of eating healthy food and avoid junk food. Fourth, he started eating healthy food and became fit. So when you talk to young children about certain crucial aspects like this, they are not able to relate much because it's like more of preaching. But if you want to generate images through generative AI, so you can give prompts like this and AI would quickly generate these images. So these are all generated by ChatGPT. Now what the teacher could do, they could put it up on the class board and ask children to see the images and understand what's happening, and any of the child can be asked to do storytelling. So all of them can be storytellers, and I'm sure they will have their beautiful version of stories through these visuals. Same way, like we ask the children to see these images and understand what's happening and arrange it in a sequence. So first they saw the images, then teacher gave little clue that there was a girl who went to see the fair with mother, and then she got lost and something happened. Now you arrange these images in a sequence. So this was the prompt which was given to ChatGPT, that scene 1, she went to see the fair with mother. Mother kept on insisting not to run, it's a crowded place. She left the hand and then she was lost, she was crying badly. So this is where generative AI, with the help of a little prompt, it could generate what the user is looking for. So these are the kind of examples. So you can tell your students, you can pre-generate some certain images and you can show it in the classroom, that how generative AI can generate images in the book which we are um, presently understanding and doing training for. In that particular book, we have our example of another platform. So there are multiple platforms which could be used. As a teacher, it is your responsibility to tell them that however in your book you would find the name of these particular specific uh, portals to generate music or to generate AI, but there are many other portals which are available, and you can show them that Adobe Express is one for images, which is very good. Microsoft photo editor is again very good. I showed you through ChatGPT. Same way, in the book also, one or two names are given, and you can ask them to try those tools themselves and try and show how these can be created. So do not deal this particular topic just as a theory lesson in the class. My recommendation would be, once you have covered the theory, give them a practical class as well, or at least show through Smartboard how one could generate images. Now coming to another part of the section that we were discussing about three type of rule-based. We understand that there is rule-based AI, discriminative AI, generative AI, and we were discussing the um, different types of AI with example. And we understood that the example for rule-based AI is calculator. And I also showed you that for discriminative AI, it will be able to discriminate between different set of examples. Like, for example, discriminative AI can identify the patterns to classify data and to generate new content. I'm so sorry that we were thinking about that traffic example, but see the traffic example where it is static, everywhere 60 minutes, seconds of light, then three colors, that can also be rule-based example. And in your book, it is given in rule-based only. In some of the countries, depending on the traffic intensity, the time changes. There, it could come in another form of AI model. But in Indian context, if the timings are fixed and the three set of lights ready and go and stop, then it can be a rule-based AI model also. In the discriminative AI model, analyze patterns to classify data into categories without creating new content. So the best part is discriminative AI is not creating new content. It's only in the generative AI the new content would be created. Rule-based AI will only perform an action basis the set rules. So discriminative AI will identify the pattern and classify data without creating not a new content. That's the point. So Google search is one example. Face recognition, so unlocking our phone or laptop is basis our phone, that is a part of our discriminative AI. and movie recommendation system. Now, if you see these three examples, and if you have understanding and of the previous chapters learning, I'm sure you must have learned that there are three domains of AI: computer vision, natural language processing, and data. So if you talk about Google search, if it's in Google image search, then definitely computer vision will come into place. If it is a normal Google search, it is fetching information from the already existing data bank of pages it has. So data comes into picture. Then it has movie recommendation system. Streaming services like Netflix, YouTube suggest movie based on what you searched before. So this kind of model is called reinforced machine learning. Basis your flavor, what you like, your taste, it will give you recommendation, and basis what you are seeing in past, like all these shopping websites sensors recommendation. So all of this is using other concepts of AI. So three domains of AI are there. We are aware: computer vision, natural language processing, and data. Similarly, different type of machine learnings are there: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforced. So those concepts are very much inherited into these AI models. So discriminative AI model definitely uses all these aspects. And when your phone opens with your face, so the model is using computer vision to identify whether the image of your face, which was stored earlier, which was set as a password, whether it matches or not. Now coming to the next section, which is generative AI model. So in the generative AI model, the new content is always created, and the output is based on the data that it has in its database to train the model. Now, for example, this is very interesting. It says, write a new story about a rabbit and a turtle, not that old age traditional story. Completely give a fresh version of it instead of showing old stories. Now, we also tried in our school doing one of the assemblies on this. So the lesson with the rabbit and in the traditional story between the rabbit and turtle was, the rabbit was very hardworking, and turtle became overconfident. Sorry, rabbit became overconfident. Turtle was consistently working towards the goal. So now we told them that use the same story, tweak it a little bit, and show how uh, the time management skill is crucial in real life. So we gave a different perspective, and who managed the time and how. So the chat GPT gave another version of the story. Now here the context is not given. Like I said that I want a story in time management context. Here it says that just create a completely fresh version of the stories of that old story. So now ChatGPT would create another kind of story. Now this is mid-journey image example. It says that create a pink lion with golden wings on Mars. So you can see how powerful the prompt was, and so the output is also very relevant. So generative AI is capable of doing all of this if the prompt is given correctly. For example, this generative AI music composer, AI tools like AI VA can compose original music in different styles, creating melodies. So I would say that if you want to try it, download the app or go to the web version. So, and then try creating it, the piece, a music piece yourself. I can give it a try, but I'm not sure how my system would support, because it needs a lot of bandwidth, and I'm seeing it a little patchy this time. So I'll just go to suno.ai. So it is suno.com basically, not suno.ai. Same one version is given here. I'm giving you demo because all tools work similarly. So you can try creating it with this one also, or the one which is given in the book. Now here it says create. So if you click on create and you want to download it, it will ask you to log in into your account. So for example, it says any idea you have. So I can write, for example, I can just write, give me a song in Hindi on Diwali. 4 lines, female voice. So it will create, but I have to log in to download it or to listen to it. So as I was anticipating, I would have to log in into it. Okay, so I'll just sign in. I have an account already. So we had asked it to create a song on Diwali. Let it just open the screen, then I quickly show you the output. Okay. Now, this is every time it will give you 4 options to choose from. So you can listen to all these. Say, yes, if you can hear in the chat window. Now see, all 4 options will be different. In terms of music, lyrics will be same more or less. So you could, do it in multiple languages, even in regional languages, Hindi, English, whatever you want to. So that's the power of generative AI. It could definitely generate audio. And as we were discussing in the book here, just 1 minute. Okay. So in our book, we are being given this tool AIVA, IVA. So this is similar to Suno only. You can, have a look at this also. Both generates music in the same way. So most of these softwares are freemium in the sense that a limited version is free, and after that you have to pay for it. And I'm being using Suno day in day out. So whatever credits I get for a particular day, it is sufficient for my day-to-day teaching. We use it very oftenly in the junior classes where we have to teach children about colors, about fruit names. So I use AI, ask AI to create some interesting songs for kindergarten so that they can learn in a fun way, and it really works magic. Even I've tried creating songs to learn trigonometric functions for younger children for class 10th. That also works. So you can try by giving those kind of prompts. Now, if we compare these kind of different kind of models, so there is one rule-based AI and discriminative AI is old form of AI. These are very weak AIs. Generative AI is a very powerful AI because it creates new content. However, rule-based or discriminative take their actions and outcome based on existing data. There is no new creation. These helps in automation. For example, if there is a robot which is being deployed for cleaning the house, now there are some prefixed algorithm into it. So when you sense a wall 10 meter ahead, take a turn. If you hit something, then come back 5 steps. So there are fixed steps. So but the robot is being done to do some automation, let's say cleaning. So that's their goal oriented. However, generative AI is to expand curiosity, create multiple comments, and mimic human like decision and creative aspects. Output here is very much predictable. Here, generative AI is very fresh output all the time. So you can't predict what kind of image or song AI will give. Even if you give the same prompt 10 times on 10 different AIs, the output could be totally different. Applications. So here the conventional AI is used in banking, healthcare, self-driving cars, detection, recommendation system, while your generative AI is used for more creative aspect, co-creating music, co-creating artwork, co-creating content, co-creating blogs with AI, all of that. When it comes to the content creation, your generative AI comes very handy. Now, this is one question which is being given. It says AI detecting fake signature in banking transaction. So basically, then they have asked you what type of rule-based AI or discriminative AI or generative AI. So what kind of it is? So basically, it is detecting signature. Now, signature, when we talk about signature in the bank, we already give our original signature against which the software matches. So it is like this category. Your face identification. So you have here face recognition. It is like signature recognition. So this is discriminative AI model. So you can have discussion on children, ask them their logic in the classroom. When it's new recipe ideas from ingredient list, it will be definitely generative AI because a new content is getting created. So I'm sure you will be able to do these kind of questions with your children. These are given in the exercise part. Now, how do these AI model learn? So they are given two types of learning. However, the CBSE syllabus book for AI also talks about the third type of learning. One is supervised, second is unsupervised, and there is something called reinforced learning also. And some people put reinforced under the subcategory of unsupervised also. So, for example, if you ask an AI model and you give it 10-20 pictures of variety of cars, and you tell it that this car, this is called this type of car, this is vintage car, this is XUV, and this is your normal petrol car, and you give different kind of images to it and you teach it that is tarah ki car ko aisa bolte hain. So then that kind of learning is called supervised learning. For example, you show it 20 kind of apples. If someone has tried Google Teachable Machine, you upload data onto it and you train the data model with set of images. Then your Google Teachable Machine is able to identify what kind of picture is being shown in the camera. So that kind of learning is called supervised learning. It's like student learning a new language using a dictionary with translation. So student sees the word and then tell its translation. So same way, image model is being trained on a set of images, and when it sees that image, one of those kind, it is able to reproduce that what it is seeing. So that kind of learning is your supervised learning. As I also gave the example of Google Teachable Machine, you see it on the screen. An AI model is being trained to classify cat and dog. So you train the model by uploading 20 pictures of different type of cats, 20 pictures of different type of dogs, and then when you show it one, it is able to recognize whether it is a cat or a dog. So this kind of learning is called supervised learning. When it comes to unsupervised learning, now imagine, let's say एक चौराहे पर a road where the crossroad meets, वहां पर एक कैमरा लगा हुआ है. And somebody gave a complaint to municipal cooperation saying that there are lot many stray animals on this particular point which hampers the movement of transport. You are requested to look into the matter. Now there is a camera also which is being deployed. Now the person has asked that can you give me 1 day's recording, and I want to check how much is the movement of stray animals over here. So the camera which is being deployed, using the video recording, they are using an AI model to ask it to give a data on the kind of movement of animals which move on that particular road. So then AI is giving data and it is classifying animals that, so many of these kind of animals are seen. Cows are seen at this point of time. Pigs are seen, dogs are seen. So no training was given to model ki kya batana hai. Model itself is finding out from the data and telling that, maybe in the afternoon all the cows can be seen. Morning time there are a lot many dogs. So whatever output is coming, that is unsupervised learning. The model from the data is fetching its own interpretation and then producing it in the form of an information. So that kind of learning is called unsupervised learning. So machine is learning on its own, and it is then producing the insights which are not pre-known like supervised learning. And then there is third category of learning which is called reinforced learning, like in the game of chess with a computer. When you play chess with the computer, so basis your action, the machine learns every time a new step. So in that kind, over a period of time, machine becomes so stronger that it has become difficult for a human player to defeat machine, because with every action of yours, it is learning and it is improving. That kind of learning is called reinforced learning. So basically, there is supervised learning, there is unsupervised learning, and there is reinforced learning also. So in this book, it is being given that which kind of learning model is used where. For example, AI detection in spam mails based on past labeled examples. So since it is just identifying based on past label, it is supervised. Grouping based on shopping behavior is unsupervised. Identifying handwritten numbers with training with the labeled images. So for example, if somebody writes 1, 2, and AI, there is an AI model which pronounce that what is being written. So it's a fixed thing. So that can also be done with the help of supervised machine learning. Clustering similar type of news articles with human labeled categories. This is again supervised. So wherever there is no, you know, uh, something which is not left to the machine to come out with predictions, that is all supervised, which is pre-fixed kind of machine learning. Any doubt between, before I move ahead, I want to ask, any doubt between supervised, unsupervised? And previously we learned two terms, conventional AI and generative AI. If there is any doubt, please put it in the chat window. It should not happen that I'm moving very fast and you people are not able to catch up the pace. So if there is anything that you want me to repeat or something. Okay. Okay, supervised learning, you are saying explain again. Okay, so for example, let me explain it like this. So we all are here. If I ask you that, everybody turn on the cameras and I am going to make someone learn everybody's name. So I pick up someone from here, and let's say, for example, I pick up Ambika and I say, okay, Ambika, first person is Karthik. So learn Karthik's face and Karthik's name. Second person is Anita. Learn Anita's face and Anita's name. So I do this exercise one time with Ambika. Then I do it two times. Then I randomly check whether Ambika has learned everything or not. Then I do it three times, four times. So I do it multiple times till the time Ambika has learned everybody's name and is able to identify by looking at the picture who is Sonia, who is Annie, and who is Karthik. So till the time I have not learned, it is reminding me. So that kind of learning is supervised learning, because you are being supervised to learn is bande ka ye naam hai, and later on you are able to reproduce. So that kind of model is called supervised learning. If you have not tried Google Teachable Machine, do try that. Watch its tutorial. It's very simple to learn. So in Google Teachable Machine, in Google Teachable Machine, we can create supervised learning models. So if the time permits, towards the end, I will create one supervised learning model and show you. Now, the next part is how these models work. So different type of models work in a specific manner. So it is, they, like in our brain, we have neural networks. Similarly, these models also work on artificial neural networks. So what is the meaning of network here? For example, if now somebody asks you that, have you ever traveled by train? And if so, how was the experience? So your brain start thinking, when did I first travel? From where to where I went? What was my experience? What are the things that I did on the journey? So in our brain, we start to make connections between our experiences. And then we derive that piece of information when somebody asks, have you ever traveled in train? Something like that. Now, when it comes to generative AI, which is generating a new content for us basis the patterns, data which is available with it. So what it does, it also forms some sort of neural network connections. So instead of human neural network connection, it forms artificial neural network connections. So how does that work? So this is the diagram for artificial neural network connections. Just give it a read, and then in next 2 minutes we will discuss it. I would request you to have a look at this diagram, and then I will brief you what is the role of this and how does it work. Now I trust that you are looking at this model. It says the first part is transformers, then autoencoders, then recurrent neural networks, then variational autoencoders, and then generative adversarial networks. Now these are very technical terms. Let us look at them one by one. If you were to teach these to your students, it says think of generative adversarial network as two artists competing each other. One tries to create a perfect painting and other tries to spot the errors. So over time, the first artist keep improving because the second one is pointing the mistake. So until the painting looks very real and beautiful. So the same way, when we call it as generative adversarial network, the two parts it has is generator, which creates new content, and one discriminator, which check if the content looks real or fake. So this is back and forth until unless the discriminator goes very down to a point that it starts looking real, the generator keeps generating the image. So this back and forth process help AI generate highly realistic images, videos, and artwork, because there is a acceptable benchmark till the discriminator gives a very low percentage of fake content. Generator keeps improving itself. So generator is ensuring that the new content which is being generated is more like real. So now if you see the example in real life, creating realistic human faces of people who do not exist, changing a daytime photo into a night scene, generating video animations from text descriptions. So all these are examples of how generative AI create content. Now the second part is variational autoencoders. Now imagine if you were to draw a new kind of animal, but you do not know how it would look like. So take features from dog, cat, horse, and blend them together, and then complete a new hybrid model of animals. So that is variational autoencoders. Like it is like a hybrid version of picking some aspect from one animal, some from another, and then blending them together to create a new variant. Now, example in real life is when AI generate faces that resemble real people. It enhances the old and blurry images to make them clear. it helps musician to generate new melodies by taking inspiration from existing variety of music. Then third kind of network is recurrent neural network. So it says, have you ever noticed that your phone suggests the next word? How does it work? It has great understanding of sequences, sentences, songs, or conversation. So basically, at the back end, it uses natural language processing, and then it tries to fetch data from the database basis the patterns. And they remember what come before and use that information to predict what comes next. For example, write a story in the style of a famous author, predict the next note in the melody, and generate music, auto completing sentences while typing messages. So this type of action is being taken care by a recurrent neural network. And then there are autoencoders. It says, imagine you take a big picture and shrink it into small and then try to draw it in full details. That's what an encoder do. It encompasses the data to remove unnecessary details and later rebuild it, making improvements along the way. And where does it used in real life? Fixing blurry or damaged photos, removing unwanted noise from an audio recording, enhancing audio's low quality, enhancing old and low quality videos to make them look better and clear. So these are the areas of usage. Then comes the transformers. Transformers, imagine reading a long book instantly and understanding its meaning without needing to read it word by word. So transformers give you just summaries, and if you say give me a summary of this book and upload just its PDF, those are the kind of examples where the transformers work in the backend. So it's like generative AI is nowadays doing a lot of stuff for us. It's generating music, it's generating video, it's generating text, it's generating images like humans, it's generating text which looks like written by a human, maybe blog writing, maybe summaries, maybe chapters. So, but it cannot do everything on its own. So it has department. Imagine it has various department for it to generate content. So there is a transformer department, there is an autoencoder department, there is recurrent neural network department, variant department, and generative addressal network. And we understood through example how each department is different from another. When it is fake versus real content, then generative addressal come into uh, effect. When you want to create something hybrid taking inspiration, then variational is something which will come into effect. Transformers is which transform into something new basis inspiration from previous existing data. So once you give it a read and discuss it with children, I'm sure it is very simple to understand. Imagine it like different faculties available with generative AI to do specific kind of tasks. So there is this then retry exercise which you can try. Then we have more of generative AI tools. So many companies and many, workplace people are using generative AI to do various kind of works. So as a teacher, if I just give you one example, let me just quickly pull it out. See, in the hand of a teacher, the power of AI is far more, So, for example, if I say I am a class 5 teacher, or you could write I teach class 12 Python, give me 3 set of differentiated worksheets to cater to test the learning of my 3 levels of learners. Which are these 3 levels of learners? Beginners, intermediate, and proficient. Right? So this is my on the topic, let's say, variables in coding. So each worksheet should have 10 questions. Now, just by entering, it is giving me 3 set of worksheets. So this is beginner level. Then you have intermediate level. And then you have high level. So this is just to give you an example how, generative AI tools can help you by merely searching some content to creating new content which can be personalized. So this is, as I said, that this is personalized differentiated level of worksheet. So if I give it to a child who is just at a beginner level, so I'm making this content personalized for that child. So these are the kind of examples that are being given here. Now this is again interesting example. It says, imagine planning a trip from Chennai to Kashmir for 2 people with a budget of 50,000. Instead of researching it everywhere, just go to ChatGPT and give this prompt, and AI would do it for you. So what we are writing to get the output, this is called as a prompt. And I'll tell you the best part of it. For example, आपको ये भी नहीं पता कि prompt कैसे देना है. So वो भी आप ChatGPT से पूछ सकते हैं. Let's say I'm writing, I want you to make 10 smileys with their interpretation for my new video game. Give me prompt. So अभी मुझे prompt भी नहीं पता कि मैं क्या prompt दूँ. I've written in my human language. It says here is a prompt you could write. So prompt from creating. This is a prompt which GPT has given me, right? So output would be like this. So now I'm using this prompt only and I'm pasting it here. So at times when you don't know, you just explain in a simple layman language. So GPT would give you a prompt also that is to be given. So now since these were smileys, that's why the size is very small. If you could say that, give me these like a big image, then it would give you that way. And if you want to say they have to be new and innovative, not the one which are available on WhatsApp already, if you write that, or let me just show you. So here I am saying, give me at least one uncommon smiley, or I could say new, which no one has seen. Now see this. It says smiley, squirrely eyes, mouth in a spiral or zigzag. So it is explaining the meaning. It is overloaded. So its interpretation, if you use it in the game, the player is overwhelmed with too many actions, whatever. So this is just to give you ideas and show you instances how you can explain it to students in the classrooms. So let's come back to our book. Now here, prompt is simply a question or a request that you give to AI to get a response. Now, basis what we want to generate from generative AI, there are different kind of tools. For example, for text generation, you have ChatGPT, Compose, Gemini, Claude, Grok, Copy AI. Similarly, for image, you have these numbers of AI. For music, you have these numbers of AI. For video generation, you have these numbers of AI. I am not sure how many of these are absolutely free to use, but each category has an open source also. So for example, ChatGPT is open AI. So you could use it, most of its feature for, free, but it has limited credit for the day. At times it says your day is limited, exhausted. Similarly, you have, Dell, you have Sora. These are open source platform. You can use many of the features for free of cost. Then you have for coding assistant, for design and creativity, for production. We also know that we all uses Canva. AI is free for with education accounts. Firefly is to a certain extent free. Adobe Express is free for schools with education licenses. So you have these kind of various kind of tools which are used for different kind of purposes. It says today the biggest tech companies are also competing to build the best generative AI models. And some of these models are given here. And then this is your exercise that you could, ask children to try it. With Firefly, they have asked to create an image with the help of a text prompt. Okay, before we move on to the next section, do you want a 5-minute break or I can continue? Please let me know through the chat window. Is it okay if I continue or you want me to give you a 5-minute break? I hope everyone is listening. Okay, you are okay. We can continue. Thank you. So here, these are the benefits of generative AI. Now imagine when I was a child, I had very creative thoughts, but I could never, create my own compositions because my writing was not that powerful. Now, let me just show you this. I'm here on ChatGPT and I am trying to tell it that I want to write a poem for my mother and sing it on her 70th birthday. The poem should be in Hindi. I want to thank her for all that she did for me and my brother. She is a role model. She worked very hard so that we could be successful in life. Now I'm not a poet, but I have some basic idea ki what my poem should convey. Now look at what power AI can give me to express myself. Now it has given me a poem, and if I feel that this is too big, so I would say that I am a class 5 girl, 10 simple lines are enough, but has to be powerful. Now, these are, according to me, this is what I can relate to. So, this is the power of generative AI. If you have, it helps to foster creativity, personalization. Some of the, tools are accessible to those people, those who do not have necessary skills. So, if I am not having a skill of writing, authoring a book, but if I have idea, AI can help me weave my story into a book also. Efficiency, it increases efficiency. It allows us to explore more ideas. For example, other day somebody was giving me an example that, I got some tests done for my wife, and then I got the reports from the lab, and I showed it to my family doctor. He said that I would suggest that you should take one or two more opinion specifically on this point, and if they recommend, get this test done. Then he said that I was thinking the first exercise itself costed me 5,000. Now, should I consult two more people? So I uploaded the report and the prescription on ChatGPT and asked it to give me possible options and opinion that should basis this data. What are the other tests recommended if these are the medicines given and the person is not relieved and these are the problems? So ChatGPT gave 2-3 options. Step 1, do this. If this test report works like this, then this is next course of action. If the report is negative, then this is the course of action. So the person said that, even the specialized doctors nowadays uh, discover new ideas, new products, new medicines with the help of an AI. Scalability means that now the products, a large amount of production can happen, and businesses can scale them very fast, even with small team sizes, because the productivity increases with the help of AI. Now, limitation of generative AI is, now, for example, if somebody is being asked to write on Kashmir, and the person was there when this, terrorist attack happened in Kashmir, and when many people sacrificed their life at the place where the tourists were there, and then there was a shoot by the people terrorist, and they killed the innocent people. Now, if suppose if I am a writer and I'm being asked to write about Kashmir, and at that time one of my relative passed away in that incident, no matter how much beautiful that place is, but I am being now perceived with the notions that the place is not safe, and there is a lot of terrorist activity. And when I am writing, it will, naturally come into my writing. And when suppose there is some foreigner who is searching about Kashmir on internet, if he come across such writing, he will form an opinion that though this is heaven on earth, but this is not a safe place to go. So biases can be at times not very correct. They can be based on people's perception. So since AI is being trained on the data which is put up by people, and it picks up the data on its own, there is no check that what data it is training itself, what experiences are real, what experiences are biased on which it is training itself. So the output can be biased. I'll just tell you one example. For example, if I go to ChatGPT and I ask it to give me a meeting room where Indian politicians are having meeting. You try this. I tried it, a few months before, and then the output which came in, there was not even a single lady. Then I reported it that there are biases in your data. How can a politician, means the meeting room where the top Indian politicians are meeting, and there is no single lady there which is in the image, means in the image which is being generated by AI. It means there is some problem with your training of the model. So these things are likely to be there. So one has to be very careful of the biases when it comes to AI created content. So I would say, and say for example, I'm writing Indian politicians in a meeting room. I don't know whether they have corrected it now or not. This is few months back when I tried. So this was a classic example of biases. So we will come back to this. There is uncertainty. AI can produce unexpected results, which may not always be accurate. There can be computational demands. Generative AI needs a lot of computing power, and it is time consuming, costly, and it needs resources also. As I was showing you in previous case, my system went into no responding situation in spite of having 32 GB RAM. So at times it needs lot of resources, RAM, computational power. It can be costly and time consuming. So these are three concerns and limitations of generative AI. And ethical concerns is, there are a lot of fake news which come in the name of AI generated content. For example, this looks like real, but this is an AI generated image. This is not real image. So since with AI in hand, people can comfortably create professional images and videos. So there is a challenging situation always to figure out. So if you see, there is a lot of challenges in terms of authenticity of the content. Similarly, somebody's voice can be easily cloned. So, if in between there were many instances when people would call you and from other side nobody would speak, and they would simply gather your voice quality and voice data, and then your voice would be used to produce some content which was never said by you. So AI voice cloning was being used to replicate Sachin Tendulkar voice for creating fake audio messages. So deep fake video of Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan was circulated. So all these are recently reported incidences, and these are challenges when it comes to ethical use of AI and responsible use of generative AI. Now, this is an exercise where you can ask children to write F for fake and G for, AI generated image, R for real. So you can give this exercise to the students, which one looks real and which one is AI generated. Now see here the challenges. Nowadays images have started to look so similar. Even if I just show you one thing. Now look at this. Here now there is a lady, but when I used it 4 months before and I reported it, there was no Indian politician lady. And see now also see the ratio. So these are kind of biases which AI can have. Now, if I take you to this Google VEO 3 and we go to videos. So let's go to YouTube for it. Okay, let's try this one only. There were a set of videos which were given, and it was very difficult to identify whether those were generated by an AI or those were human created images. Like, okay, look at this. Now this looks like actual human video, but this is your AI generated videos. So when you see a video where there are real human beings involved, with Google AI VO3, it's very difficult to identify which one is generated by AI and which one is being generated by humans. So these are all fake, humans, no real humans. This was the input image and this is the output video. So that's what I was trying to tell you, that this is what is being given here. That's the in the textbook, that's a problem or a concern when it comes to use of AI. In 2018, an AI generated painting titled Portrait of Edmond de Bellamy was sold at an auction for this much rupees, which is amazing. And the painting was generated by AI, not created by humans. That's the point to note. Now, there are other ethical challenges that highlights the importance of responsible AI use to ensure technology benefits society while minimizing harm. So first is ownership. AI can create content like text, images, music, raising questions: who owns this content? Which company is behind this? What kind of work is getting generated? An AI generated painting was entered into art competition. It leads to a debate that how fair the competitions would be. Now, when you ask me as a teacher, in my school, I have started to do a storytelling competition. So where we say that if you are doing the storytelling and the story that you have used for this session, if that's co-created with AI or created by yourself or just created by an AI, you mention that at the bottom in the source, that what is the source of this story. So because in a storytelling competition, our judgment criteria is the way you are speaking, your explanation power, your ability to communicate, and the kind of story that you have picked up based on the theme of competition. So even if you have taken the help of an AI, we are okay, because in olden days also people would, go to libraries, search for a apt story, discuss with parents. Now, what if they have found another new buddy, which is AI? What's the harm if they are searching the story with the help of an AI? Since the competition is about power of expression, we are okay until unless children are uh, ethically stating and having academic honesty to say that this story is being co-created with an AI. But this is anyone trying to say anything? Is there any participant who is trying to say anything? Else keep your mic in mute, please. Okay. Second one is human control. Over reliance on AI can reduce human decision making and creativity as AI generated content become more advanced. So gradually you start to feel that my Mm, can you please mute yourself? Who is this? Okay. So, how many? Okay, my question to you is, how many of you have started to feel that with over reliance on AI tools like ChatGPT and all, your writing is being getting hampered, your thinking is getting hampered. Please put it in the chat window if you so feel that it is hampering your creative domain and your cognitive domain. Please put it in the chat window. What are your thoughts? You feel if you feel that no, it's okay. I know how to get the work done from an AI, but I'm still confident to work without AI. So I want to know your thoughts. Uh, do you think it is controlling our cognitive domain and we have challenges with AI taking over everywhere? So let me write my honest answer. I feel Now, I tell you one classic example. Whenever I draft nowadays emails, or let's say I have to draft a policy document, or I have to draft a note to be sent from one department to another. So earlier, I would write these notes independently. I would use Grammarly of Word to check the grammar mistake and all. With AI coming in, I developed this habit that draft everything, put it in GPT and ask it to make it in formal tone, make it concise, make it in 500 words, things like that. Now, 2 days before, I realized that it says that my upload limit to GPT has been exhausted and I can now try this after 5 hours. And I was to send that document urgently somewhere. So I found it so helpless in that situation. I created quickly an account on Gemini and did the same exercise. So I'm thinking one day without internet, without ChatGPT, without any AI, I think to a certain extent it is controlling us. And if we continue to use it on the pace at which we are using, there will be a time when it will become way of life. Like today we cannot live without internet, then we won't be able to live without chatbots or without these generative AI tools. So that's a situation which is alarming. Then comes biases, as I already said, that for example, if you ask somebody who is putting data into an AI model about Indian religions, and that person is not comfortable with the ideologies of one particular religion, and is put in some data where when the model is being trained, is model is take it's very natural for the model to pick up biases which are being fed in by the system, by the person who is feeding the data into the system. So biases is something which is, so one another classic example for this is, let's say the training cell of the placement cell of a college was asked to upload data on their portal to say over the years how many boys and girls sat in the campus placement and how many got selected by which company. Now this person who was uploading the data just uploaded the data. For example, 2014, Microsoft took 50 boys and 5 girls. Let's say Google took 30 boys and 3 girls, and something like that for every year. And then the model says that the company is biased towards selection of boys, not girls. However, it was absolutely other way around. If Microsoft took 50 boys and 5 girls, those 50 boys were selected out of 200 boys, and those 5 girls were selected out of 8. So one has to give, the absolute correct data. The otherwise the data can have biases. So this is one aspect. Misinformation. If the deep fake videos are being created, false information is being created, so then the misinformation can easily spread. That is another area of concern. Privacy is mostly, the biggest challenge nowadays. We saw, in the name of Ghibli art, in the name of dressing up yourself wearing a sari, people uploaded a lot of personal pictures and data. Now, uh, if AI can make someone wear a sari, or AI can make someone wear a Michael Jackson dress, it's easy for AI to remove those clothes and show different kind of images. So it is very scary part of it. To what extent we should upload our personal information? We should be taking consent of people before using their personal data to train AI models. So there should be AI policy in place in all work organization, and at no cost personal data of one should be used to train a model without the consent. So privacy rules needs to be keep in mind. Those are the challenges. Now, using AI responsibly to prevent these risks while ensuring AI benefit people in a fair and safe way is a win-win situation. Now, we have explored the fascinating words of generative AI. Let's dive back into the question that we started with. So it says, as it can be easily guessed that the director Prasannath Verma utilized the power of generative AI in movie Hanuman to generate these high quality graphics. These technologies can be useful in creating realistic animation, reducing manual work, enhancing image and video quality, making screen cinematics, lowering production cost, enabling high quality and affordable work. So with AI advancement, tools like Sora, near realistic videos can be generated without using cameras. In the futures, movie may be created entirely with AI and text prompt, revolutionizing filmmaking forever. So maybe the laws of the role of professional story writers will go for a toss. The role of graphic designers will go for a toss. So these are the challenges which are available ahead for us to discuss. Now, a strong understanding of generative AI leads to exciting careers. So, while the whole world is worried that AI is taking away so many jobs, the World Forum 2030 report says that there will be 33 million more jobs. So, why they are saying so? The nature of jobs will change from data entry operator to, typist to people who code. The roles will be AI analyst, the AI researcher, or the insight generator. So the roles definition would change, the skill set would change. There will be more jobs, but there will be more jobs of different skill set. The people, those who will not improve or upskill themselves or will not evolve their roles into new skill set, definitely AI is going to be taking a toll on their jobs. So this is chapter's recap, which is being given, and I would ask you to put it in the chat window. What are the two, three things that you have clearly understood and remembered from this chapter? Then I'll show you one or two more examples. So I'm leaving you on this screen. You put it in the chat window. What are two, three things which are absolutely clear to you and where you need more help? Have you read it? Now, can you unmute yourself? And if anybody wants to ask any question, any concept which is being, so I repeat, we understood what is generative AI, how it is different from, so there are two categories of AI model, which is rule based AI and discriminative AI, which comes under conventional AI, जो पुरानी conventional AI, and now we are living in the age of generative AI. हम ये नहीं कह रहे हैं कि conventional AIs are now outdated, they are still in use, they have a different purpose, but now we have generative AI. So then we understood the difference between these, then we understood how these AI models learn, what is supervised learning, what is unsupervised learning, and what is reinforced learning. I gave you example. Then I explained you generative AI has so many faculties to work on. उसको text भी generate करना है, उसको images भी generate करनी है, उसको hybrid models content भी generate करना है. So उसके लिए उसके पास different डिपार्टमेंट होते हैं जैसे एक रियल लाइफ में, उसके पास डिफरेंट मॉडल्स हैं. एंड देन वी अंडरस्टूड व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ RNN, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ ऑटो एनकोडर, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ ट्रांसफॉर्मर. ईच हैज अ स्पेसिफिक पर्पस. Then I explained you the purpose of each model. After that, in this chapter, we discussed which are the most popular generative AI tools which we use for different purposes, what are their benefits, what are their challenges, from where the biases come, what is the ethical AI usage that humans should look into, and what are the challenges like fake news, data privacy, responsible use, academic integrity, which can get compromised with overuse. So this is what the chapter was all about. And then there are questions which are being given, and that's what this chapter is all about. This was use of generative AI, the textbooks chapter 7, which had 3 parts. So if I take you back now quickly to this portion where we were doing, so I'll just come back to our so this is our book chapter which we discussed, and you can view it page wise also. So I'll close this view and I come back to the main screen. So if you go to chapter number 7, the first lesson plan I had showed you, the second lesson plan, it says that in the second chapter, you can tell children about supervised, unsupervised learning, how AI learns from data, understand different type of networks, match the correct neural network model with its purpose. So this also we did. And then there is third chapter. In the third chapter, we learned about different kind of generative AI tools. We understood the benefits and limitation. We understood the ethical challenges. We also understand the responsible AI usage and future possibilities of AI in creative fields. So this was all about the chapter. Now I am ready to take any questions that you may have. Plus, I also want to give you this hint that when you deliver this chapter to the students, you know, since there is a lot of theory, you if you have class in the classroom the interactive projectors, so pre-create some pieces of music, of images or videos that you have done using AI and bring it as a part of your presentation and show it to them, or take them to lab, give them half an hour lab session and ask them to try different platforms and generate different kind of content. Like children get super excited when you ask them to create a song using an AI, when you ask them to create a little video. Gamma is an excellent tool to generate PowerPoint presentation. I'm sure many of you must be already using it. So when you have these kind of interventions of practical usage with theory, then children take the learning so much deeper. And if I tell you examples related to senior school, so since you all are computer science teachers, so what you ask your children that use generative AI, or maybe you can ask them that for this tool you try using Claude. Let's say if they go to Claude and ask that, I'm a class 9 student who is going to make a very basic Python project and I want to solve this real life problem. So they state the problem that they want to solve. So let's say they are saying that I want to make a weather predictor. So it's if there can be, some sensors that I could attach to my system. I have a Raspberry Pi and I could attach temperature sensor, precipitation sensor, things like that. And if my AI model could give some weather predictions. So can you break down this problem into simpler problem? Tell me the hardware and software requirement and what would be the suggestive code to do this. So try giving this command to Claude.ai and see what output comes. And then see what part you have understood and what part you have not understood. So asking children to make such kind of reflections, such kind of experimentation with AI is really helpful. Now, there was a time, if is there anyone in the room who has used Thunkable mobile app platform? The Thunkable is a platform to generate mobile apps. Have you ever used it earlier? Is there anyone who has used in the room? You can speak or you can put it in the chat window. No, okay. So this tool is used to create mobile app. So Aruna ji says she has used. So now you use the tool today. There was a time when we used to create the entire app ourselves. So we would go to the tool, we will sign in using an ID, and then we would first create the front end, which is called the design part. Then we'd go to blocks like MIT App Inventor. Then we will do the coding, and then our app will become functional. And we had to decide that how many screens should be there in app, how the movement will happen from one app screen to another. Now I opened this tool last week. To my surprise, the name of the app is Thunkable. To my surprise, the tool has evolved like anything. Now I need not to learn how to create a mobile app. So I just need to give the prompt right. So I went there, it says give the prompt to an AI to create your mobile app for. So for example, I told it this morning, I want to create an app to find the BMI. So my users of app should be able to provide height and weight in the unit they desire. So there should be multiple units to select from, whether they are entering it in kgs or lb or pounds, in whatever in terms of weight. And in terms of height, they should be able to fill it in inches, centimeter, meter. And then once they've given the data and they click on the button calculate, on the next screen of the app, their BMI should come and it should tell whether the person is overweight, underweight, malnutrition, whatever. And then the recommendation for further, diagnosis. So I told them that I want a 2-screen app and something like that. And I also specified that if convenient, use my school logo on the app screen. So I click on then create with AI. Then at the click of a button, AI created a 2-screen app. Then I went to the design, that was front end. Then I went to the block part, which is coding part. Then it says that, are you happy with the front end screen? I said yes. Then it generated my back end code also. So at the end of the day, I was not to do anything. But now here the catch is, AI asked me that, how do you want to calculate BMI? It means I was to give the formula. Then I was to give the condition table that if BMI is in this range, overweight, if BMI. So it asked me to give my conditions myself. So it means for a child to learn formulas in Excel, commands in, in any particular app is not important nowadays. Child should not know how it is to be done, what is to be done. The child should know how it is to be, how to get this done with an AI. So they should be trained to treat any AI model like their intern, and then they should know how to get the work done from this intern. Now, for that to happen, if I'm a master and I've got a slave under me, and if I've got an intern under me, I should know इससे क्या काम कराना है. नहीं तो मैं उसको पैसे दूं या नहीं दूं, वो पर्सन खाली बैठा है, बिकॉज मेरे पास वो इंटेलिजेंस नहीं है कि उससे क्या कराना है. So those are the kind of skills that we need to train these children for. So we have to tell them, yes, AI would code for you, AI would, create for you, but उससे क्या बनवाना है और किस पर्पस के लिए बनवाना है, that is what very important. So I would say in the age of generative AI, creative thinking, problem solving, critical thinking will become, and computational thinking will become more so important, because बच्चे को पता होना चाहिए, in the mind he should be able to break down the problems and understand from here where to go and how AI can help me to reach there, and what command should I give to AI. So those are the kind of interventions that we teachers need to explain them. They should learn to co-create with AI, not AI creating everything for them. So the partnership with the intern has to be there, so that the final outcome is owned by the child. So that's my message when you teach generative AI. Now I open the floor. If there are any question answers, I am available next 5 minutes. If you want to ask in any page in the book, anything that you have doubt or you would want me to re-clarify anything. Karthik, if there is any question that is being sent to you, you can let me know.
I don't see any questions in the chat, ma'am. Let us wait for 2 minutes.
Okay,
Or
no.
if we
So I'm here. You can unmute or ask, or you can type in the chat window. I'll take your queries.
Ma'am, did you clarify Narmada ma'am regarding please repeat the differences we can tell to the students in types of Gen AI?
Types of yeah, so there are three types of, okay, as I promised, I'll let me quickly share my screen, and I'll take you to this software called Google Teachable Machine. So this is Google Teachable Machine. If you have not tried it earlier, you can try it. And I said that this particular model works on supervised learning. So what one need to do is one need to click upload images of, for example, have a look at this project. So if there is an image project, so if you see the tutorial, I don't have pictures on my system. So for example, if I upload here, okay, let me show you audio model. So I am saying audio model. So it says you upload in the background noise. I will not speak anything and I will turn on the mic. It will capture the background. Okay. Now we'll go to another class and we are saying this as clap. So I will use my mic and give its input for clapping. Then I'll say extract. I'll again record. It needs 8 minimum. So I'm again saying. So I've given it clapping samples. Then suppose I add a class and then I say hum sound, right? Not clapping sound. I'm saying hum sound. And then I say hmm, 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 hmm. So I've given two kind of sample. Now I'm training this model. It has background sound as noise sample, it has clap, and it has hum sound. So I'm training the model. It says it's required 20 seconds of background music. Okay. So I'll do for background music, I'll again add some more samples. Okay, now I'll train my model. सो दिस इज सुपरवाइज लर्निंग. आप सिखा रहे हैं मॉडल को कि ये बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक होता है, ये क्लैपिंग साउंड होती है, ये हम साउंड होती है. सो मॉडल इज गेटिंग ट्रेन्ड, एंड वंस द मॉडल इज ट्रेन्ड यू कैन अब ट्रेनिंग में क्या हो रहा है कि एआई मॉडल इज लर्निंग इस साउंड को ये बोलते हैं. एंड नाउ यू कैन आई कैन एक्सपोर्ट माई मॉडल. सो सी आई एम स्पीकिंग नाउ. अभी आप देखिए. सो वाइल आई वॉज क्लैपिंग, अभी साउंड आइडेंटिफाई कर रहा है. अभी जब मैं बोल रही हूँ, व्हेन इट वाज क्लियर क्लैपिंग इट वुड से क्लैपिंग. So when I was doing humming, it was saying hum sound. So this kind of model which is being prepared by me is supervised learning model. Now if I go to this website called You Classify, um, so I'm not telling anything, that I upload a random Excel to it and I asked to identify. Let me see if I have it on my system. So this is a data classifier, but you don't tell आपको उस डेटा में से किस बेसिस पे क्या क्लासिफाई करना है. So for example, I go to sentiments, let's say, and I click here and I put some data here. So I need to have, for example, let me see if I have any feedback form. Teacher feedback, there was something here. So I need some content where I really want to do sentiment check. Okay, let me just open this. So what we usually do when we have PTMs, so if we want to understand how was people mood, sentiment, then what we do is ये सारा जो data है, for example, you have all of this. So we copy this and we paste it to this tool. And then we say classify. Now you say, it says 99% positive, only 1% negative. So in a, कोई इवेंट किया आपने, उसके बाद आपको फीडबैक चाहिए. So you just give it to an AI. So this is unsupervised learning. AI is itself suggesting based on the content, because contents were not fixed. In this, content were fixed. But this is classified, I mean, supervised learning, that's in unsupervised learning. And when you talk about a game of chess, or you talk about the predictions on Mintra, or you talk about your shopping patterns, that reinforced learning. So I told you 3 types of learning: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforced machine learning. I hope it's clear now.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
I somehow still am not very convinced with the example of chess game for a reinforcement learning, because online chess game भी जो है, we actually know the rules of the chess game. हम chess game के rules के basis पे सिखाते हैं.
मैम देखिए,
The
उसके बेसिस पे
AI.
तो आप सिखाते हैं, लेकिन हर इंडिविजुअल का अपना स्टाइल होता है. सो आप
हाँ.
खुद ट्राई कीजिएगा कि आप एआई के साथ जब चेस खेलना शुरू करेंगे, तो पहली
हाँ.
बार, दूसरी बार, तीसरी बार आप एआई को हरा सकते हैं. somebody is a very good player.
Yes.
You play 10
Hmm.
times, 15 times, later on it becomes very difficult for you to defeat computer. Why? Because
Yeah.
आपकी हर
It learns our patterns.
it is, so there is a fixed set of rules that is agreed. Those are games of rules. But reading
Hmm.
your mind, that how do you play individually, that is reinforced learning. अब ऐसे मिंत्रा के स्टॉक में तो 50 आइटम फिक्स हैं, उनके
Hmm.
पास तो वही प्रोडक्ट है, लेकिन वो हर किसी को डिफरेंट क्यों दिखाते हैं? मुझे सारे पिंक ब्लू क्यों आते हैं, किसी को ग्रीन ब्लैक क्यों आते हैं? बिकॉज हमारे प्रीवियस पैटर्न के बेसिस पे, हमारे साइजेस और कलर की चॉइस पे हमारा शॉपिंग एक्सपीरियंस बेटर होता है. उनके तो
Yeah.
प्रोडक्ट्स का पूल सेम है, बट हर
Yeah.
किसी का ऐसे ही इंस्टा के पास अगर 500 रील्स हैं, तो आपकी फीड और मेरी फीड सेम नहीं है. मुझे
Correct.
अलग पॉपअप्स आ रहे हैं, आपको अलग आ रहे हैं, बिकॉज दैट्स रीइंफोर्स्ड लर्निंग, हाउ मशीन इज लर्निंग फ्रॉम बिहेवियर एंड इम्प्रूविंग आवर एक्सपीरियंसेस.
Okay. So because it's improving, like, because normally in reinforcement learning, we come across the words like rewards and punishment, like trial and error basis पे learning होता है. So it's like in trial and error, the machine tries to improvise more every time, and then वो हमसे जीतते जाता है. This is what
Yes,
you're telling,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. If there are no queries, then I will close today's session, and tomorrow we'll meet again at 5 o'clock for another chapter. So if you have any doubt in today's chapter, you can still ask it tomorrow. So I'll be available 5 to 7. Thank you.